And then the sky began to clear. And he heard this and he could smell a new scent. And there were new bird calls overhead. And he could see the gulls. And he heard a of a ship. And he felt tiny movements all around. And he gazed around himself. He saw this white sand, these tiny rocks that he had fallen upon as the stream had carried him to the ocean. And he looked around him. What is this? And
then, all of a sudden, since he wasn't in the forest anymore, but in a totally different environment, there was sand and little rocks, little pebbles. How did they get there? Where did they come from? And so he asked them, he says, are you from around here? Or have you always been here? And they said, well, as long as we can remember. And he said, well, what's it like being here? This looks so different. And they said, oh, it's great fun because the ocean comes in and moves us around, and it's really kind of a lighthearted way to live. And every once in a while, there are these big, big things, kind of like rocks, but they move, and they come on the water, and people get off of them, and sometimes they pick us up and play with us, and sometimes
you'll see a barnacle. Maybe you'll end up having a barnacle friend living on you. Or other creatures that kind of like live underneath you, like sand crabs, and maybe someone will want to use you to like build a sandcastle on top of, or maybe someone will sit on you and have a picnic.
Picnic?
And the rock remembered what it had gone to and where it had come from. And he remembered the meadow and the beauty. And he remembered the terror of the night before, not knowing what was happening, if he'd be broken apart, if he would survive. And yet here he was. He had cried out to the night, and the elements had heard him, and he had been carried to a new place where he felt he belonged. He didn't have to struggle. The water had washed away the mess the robin had made. The water had washed away so many years of corrosion and dissatisfaction, and as he nestled into his new family of thousands and millions and trillions of brothers and sisters, and he realized that he was in connection with millions and trillions of lives, big and small, he settled in, and he began to get to know his surroundings.
Yes. And from that day forward, he had a real purpose in life, because those creatures that came off of those big objects on the ocean used rock as their stepping stone both into a new place for them and to get into other worlds where they traveled and could tell everyone about all of their adventures. And that, my friends, is a chakra story with a happy ending. Good job!
That was awesome. I love how you put that together.
Oh,
it was beautiful.
yes, that
Oh my
was
gosh.
great.